Hmm. Interesting. Okay, there we go. Good evening. Let's see here. Add that. See. I think a few folks are running behind. Clinton definitely will be, so. I forget, honestly. He just messaged me and said that it's something with regards to school, I believe. Indeed. Woo! Hmm. It depends if it's a sustain or not. And sustain. I don't know if you need to take an action. I'm one. It sounds like that's still your fault. Mm-hmm. If it's gonna be that bad. Mm, mm-hmm. You wouldn't have. Mm, yeah, yeah. Yeah, anything that I auto resolve with Nurgle is I'm like, okay, I'll heal it off in the next round or two. I don't need this army. And then, invariably an army comes up and is like, "Oh, hello. It's interesting to see you that you're this slow right over here." Hmm. Oh yeah. Everything. Yeah. At least you ground them because they would have lost nothing. Mm. Hmm. Yeah, that is the way of it, it seems, and I don't know if that's like going to be something they consider nerfing in the future, but it just seems like heroes is what I mean. Well, it's a bit like heroes in Warcraft 3 or something like along those lines is that uh there's a lot of fights. Hmm. Hmm. Oh yeah, but I just get worried about there's so many fights where we're just okay, well we're just gonna ignore the general because but like even if we fight the dwarves, the ogres, or the orcs, like invariably you're just like okay, we are just going to not engage their leader because their leader is going to cut things down and yeah. So, I wonder if that's ever going to be something that they address just because it's like an army, building type game and stuff like that. And at its highest level, it's being played as, World of Heroes, etc. Um, mm, yeah, like I guess because they've limited the number of hero types that we each have, because you would put more heroes in a stack just to, have them. Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, the Nurgle cultist is like I thought that he was going to be like summony, spellcasty, or whatever. No, he is pure beef. 100% goes in and kills whatever his target is. Um, like uh, mm, mm. I want to ice cast a lot or whatever it is in my. I do want to get back to our Kislev campaign because I was enjoying that, but. Mm, mm, mm. It's nuts. We'll get started if um, Jim or Clint end up showing up before 8. If not, we'll push to an 8 start just because I know Clint was running a little bit behind and I don't know Jim's status. So good, how art thou? Highly recommend Total War. It's great and it's multiplayer, very multiplayer now. Oh, that is a fun game. Mm, sounds like a fun game though. I Well, the problem that they don't know, and I'm sure that there's stuff being rewritten up until the last minute, they don't know if something's a bit or not. Like, that's people still don't know if it's a bit or not in some.
surprised. I mean, that was not a light hit at all. He went back about a foot and a half from where he was.
I mean, the guy trained to play Ali, so I mean,
Right. So,
about 2 weight classes bigger than Chris Rock will ever be.
not to mention his hands about the whole size of Chris Rock's face.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm surprised Chris Rock's entourage, bodyguard, somebody, just to let, I don't care who it is, just to let somebody come up with stage and steal on like that from the world.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee that he was going to hit him. Like, he could have walked up and they would have hugged him. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Who the fuck thinks Will Smith's going to haul off and, like, clap a dude like that?
Right.
I mean, he is from West Philadelphia, but, like, still.
Yeah, Chris Rock's from Brooklyn. I mean, he's in two highly contested areas.
Well, I mean, Chris Rock is no one bitch. I mean, he took the hit.
That's what they with the West Philadelphia border, maybe.
Yeah.
All the playground.
Yeah, I just practice shooting some b-ball outside the school with a couple of guys who were up to no good. Started making trouble in my neighborhood. Yeah. It was a little fight, and my mom got scared.
Yeah, but no, Chris Rock, Chris Rock stock went up highly after that. Just the way he handled it, and one, smacked the shit out of him, and he stood there and took it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't well up with tears or anything.
Yeah, that was another shock, too. I'm surprised it wasn't all water.
I would have had instantly down my face, and I would have been shaking violently right before I attacked Will Smith. Will Smith would have been maybe halfway back to his chair before I was like, nah, it ain't gonna end like this.
It sucks that the joke was said because it was definitely off color, but
Oh,
damn,
it,
you can't just go slugging police.
it was it was a pity for Chris Rock that it was a shitty joke because the thing is that there's one thing to be said about like a Ricky Gervais esque like roast joke that probably went too far but was funny, and the fact that it'll go down uh, as GI Jane 2 or whatever it is what a horrible softball to go and get whaled in the face for. So
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, in 10 different circumstances, that probably would have flown just fine. But when you fuck with people, you never know what the reaction is going to get.
Also, they've been dealing with a lot of shit over this past like year or several.
Yep.
what?
I think it got to me, but I had no idea she had sex with their son's friend. That shit's wild. And she told him on a talk show.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to figure if she was having sex with his son's friend, he's probably banging out Margot Robbie and every co-star.
Well, he's not talking about that shit on national television. And that's where you get screwed. I saw the hyper
Relationship is where you get screwed.
true. Well, I saw this one. There were some posts out there from like the hyper religious side saying that it was Jada Pinkett's fault because of the way that she, facial information. Like, whoa, wait a minute. You are pointing that finger in the way wrong direction.
I mean, honestly, Mike, if we're being fair, did you see the way she just sat there?
She was pissed.
I mean, 100% she lost that.
Yeah.
Also, she has breasts, I've heard.
You have heard.
I have heard. I mean, that's the way, though. Like, I feel like organized religion just bashes the shit out of women and anyone who's not a white male.
Mm.
Yeah. What was it? They're Scientologists, and apparently there's so many it's in Scientology. Like if someone displeases you, slap them to let them know like a power dynamic. I got this from the Frank Air show.
The Scientologists put it on.
No, this is my conspiracy. Scientologists hate Chris Rock.
Did Will Smith just reach the Satan level alpha beta?
Yeah. He's gonna transcend and become a South Park character again.
I was like, man, the best Oscar moment of all time would have been if Chris Rock out of nowhere dunked that slap. That would have been the best moment.
Well, dude, a slap like that, if he hadn't connected, he may have fallen.
He fell back when he hit him. You know, if you notice, if you watch it, like his momentum carried him along.
Well, that
Right,
probably
you missed that one. He would have went grand.
yeah. I mean, fucking leather shoes that maybe he probably only worn one time, maybe a couple times. Yeah,
Yep.
slippery.
Yeah, still, man, that sucks, man. Those are two of my favorite, stars, and
Yeah.
that is not a good look for Will. And I feel bad for Chris getting fucking bullied basically on the
Everybody
national
hated
board.
that guy.
Yeah, right.
Everybody hates Chris.
Ricky Gervais is going to have a bodyguard at the next award show he does, I'll tell you.
Wear body armor.
Yeah, it's basically we got germs and we got plexiglass up in front of everybody.
Mm.
Easy access to the main stage. Come on.
Oh man, then I saw that Jamie Gordon did the whole "We don't talk about Jada" skit on his show last night. It's like,
Yeah, it's gonna. We'll be so sick of this whole thing by like the time that it goes through every single. Because we haven't even hit Saturday Night Live yet, and if this isn't like the opening sketch of Saturday Night Live, I don't know what the fuck is. They may even get Chris Rock to be there.
First meme I saw was that Dave Chappelle just got a whole stand-up special with jokes in 5 minutes.
that's a great idea because they could just have like him make a joke and then just a line of people just slap him and move on, slap him and move on. Oh, they were playing that little.
That shit writes itself.
There was a I forget where it came from, the commercial or something. I forget what it was, a skit something. And this guy just go around slapping everybody at a party. They're like they're all lined up and just slapping. The police come and he's slapping the police. But they put Will Smith's image over it. Uh,
Yeah.
she,
Overall, it's gonna be run into the ground.
I changed up how I was connected here. Was it sound still good on my end?
Yeah, it's great.
Sounds good.
It's horrible.
Yeah, truly the worst.
Watch it. Get up on stage. Get up on stage. Give him a mic. Oh man, just don't make fun of Jen's hair. I mean, she.
Jen would do more damage with words than Michael ever.
We talked about it. I don't know, a while ago. It's just like it's not if she has something to say. It's the three things that she's already thought of and deciding whether or not any one of those three is even worth mentioning.
Well, the filter system she has in place, if they can get through that or not. That's how I am at work. I gotta like, I got levels.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, I love her.
Yeah, this morning we're in the manager's office, and Cindy's like, "Hey, whenever you want to, come into my box, just feel free." And she brings out like hair gel and all. I was like, "Look, I'm not saying anything, but Cindy did just give me express written consent to enter her box anytime she asked me." I was like, luckily it was every manager and every supervisor.
Oh my god. I actually filtered like for once in a great while. We're having a team meeting, and then my manager said that this one person on our team, like everything puts out the whole, just like to start the week off with something. And this week it was a Harry Potter thing, which house would you be in? And he said, he abstained because he doesn't like, he's not into Harry Potter and whatnot. And then he went on later to say it was the worst poll that he's ever seen, and I had to hold back so hard from saying that's what she said. Because I don't think that he would really appreciate the take on his wife.
Yeah, it sucks when it's like an uncut gem. Like you just have to stow it.
Yeah, it hurt. I had to tell one of the other people on the team. It's like, yeah, that would have been a problem. Uh,
Yeah, they're like, it worked. They're like, you can make anything sound dirty. I'm like, it's my sister.
well, you could have made it tragic if you had said that's what she said, and then she left me. Let that hang.
Mhm.
That's what she said, and never touched me again. And never.
Mm.
I saw something on TV the other day that maybe lament not having it years went by. It was a multiple water balloon filler.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Forget how many beers we had staying up all night blowing all those water balloons. I mean,
Put band-aids on our fingers because they were raw from the rubber just floating off the
dying just dying. Yep, exactly.
How big were they?
Why?
A
30
30 by
minutes.
a 30 by 18-foot wide oval filled the top 12 inches.
Yeah, it was. I think we bought 2,500 water balloons, and they lasted maybe 8 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. Yeah.
Mike knows it was 12 inches because that's 3 inches four times.
Yeah, but our the major miscalculation was the refraction of the sun through the water in the pool, heating up the rubber, and we compromised several water balloons. Because when they're floating on top, it got hot before we were ready to have the water balloons fight. We're like, oh, we gotta sweep the heat up because we're losing balloons.
That was a great one. Like the absolute best water balloon fight I've ever been to.
We had some fucking banging ass parties down there, man.
Good time, good times.
Almost killed Mark's hand on the slip and slide.
Oh Jesus! Adults on a slip and slide. Worst thing ever. All the kids, they listen. The adults, I can walk on it. Oh,
Night you allegedly bear grabbed and someone else allegedly having someone else
allegedly.
right next to you.
All right.
We
Before we say anything allegedly on stream, it is turning 8 o'clock, and we can get started before anyone incriminates themselves on a public forum.
allegedly.
Allegedly. Those of you that are not in roll 20 for me to, it looks like a lot of you still have the 2 hero points from the previous game, so we'll keep you guys capped at that. Um, but anyone else that has less than that, I will dole out more. And we'll begin a quick recap because it's been a month since we last got together. And so we'll do, I've added to your journals the Ruined Temple of Asmodeus, which is a new quest that you all had been awarded. Um, so you after debating ad nauseum for a very long time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. You guys had originally been tasked with the bladesmith dilemma, which was a bladesmith of legendary renown had tasked you with hunting down a pair of jeweled daggers that had been stolen en route to his shop after it had been bejeweled. Uh, you guys had gone all around town attempting to investigate into this, even looking into the gentleman that hired the bladesmith, Raul Rodrigo, checking in with the goldsmith that gemmed the blades, checking in with everyone that you possibly could and investigate into. And it slowly led to Adlat Lockowin, who is a purveyor of weapons and mercenaries in Old Town. He seems to run a few businesses there. He has an inn that he seems to back, as well as his mercenary business. Um, and you inquired with one of his scribes. They, sort of quasi-incriminated him, but you again have not yet seen that or know for a fact that he has the daggers, although he made some veiled statements that he may know where to locate them, etc. Um, you negotiated with him rather than attempting to infiltrate, rather than attempting to attack, rather than attempting to intimidate or do anything else of that sort. You had negotiated. Um, yes, there was some intimidation. I won't. Will say there won't be. Yes. Um, and after a very thirsty conversation with you all, Adlat had said that he might be willing to procure the daggers for you as part of a contract, but he needed to know the quality of your sword, and so he had a contract that had been given to him by the captain of the Guard of the Margrave, which was in relation to the ruined temple of Asmodeus outside of town. Um, a number of miles outside of town, there was a temple of Asmodeus that, after the Kingsland moved into Porta del Sol, they had sort of shook out any devil or demon worship and destroyed or defiled any temples. Well, defiled is probably not the right word for destroying a temple of Asmodeus. It's probably something more like, you know, refile, exactly. Um, yes, they refinance. Well, Asmodeus might be happy about that. But it would seem that in recent weeks, there have been undead roaming about the countryside near the temple. And in addition, now several caravans have been hit, most of them being of Kingsland merchants or guardsmen or something to that effect. The Margrave's captain had sent a number of patrols there to see if they could not deal with the situation, and none of them came back. So you all took the contract for 100 gold minus Adlat's 10% finder's fee, and have gone off uh, to the. It's not necessarily mountainside, but it is in mountainous terrain outside the city that overlooks it, where this ruined temple once was. Um, you all approached off the main road and began to go up into the mountainous countryside, and there was a watchtower that was ruined, and you began to approach that and see that there were shambling shapes about it. Fairly certain that those shambling shapes were corpses walking around. Uh, we left off last game on initiative with you all having moved right up to the tower, the walls of it, and like a zombie just looked up like, and that's where we will begin this week. So I am going to. Yes, we do. The benefits of Roll20. The one thing I will be doing is, because you are down two party members here, I am going to modify things a little bit here. So
Three more zombies.
in the event that your other friends start moving remarkably, then zombies or skeletons may claw their way out of the ground. But that all being said, I'm going to take us back to where we. So let's. Again, Gabriel is not standing there in the water. Gabriel is back behind you all, about 15 to 20 feet. But Gabriel is our camera in this game, so um, it had been Kane and Co had been sort of in the front there, and that's where we sort of rolled initiative. So um, all that aside, we pick up at the top of the order with Co, who is at a 21, and you can see that zombie shambler that's out in front of Kane there is beginning to move in all of your direction. The surprise round is what allowed you to actually move up into this area, and because like the thing is that surprise round would have been like if you guys were around this corner here and then moved in or something to that effect. But you guys have sort of come around the corner here, and that's where you're starting. So there wasn't any attempts to like sort of stealth in or do anything else of that sort. So the surprise round is that you guys had gotten this close to them without them noticing you, if that makes sense. Yes.
Whenever we can engage, I want to set that down on the ground. And then, is that 20 feet?
Uh, you'd have to consult the player's handbook. Let me know because I've got several light sources ready to rock and roll. And given what the light source is, I can just drop it on the ground as opposed to having it on you, which I'll need to do just because, again, your visibility will depend on it. So
A hooded lantern sheds light in a 30-foot radius and dim light in the next 30 feet, and is equipped with shutters which you can close to block the light.
30-foot radius and then 30 feet dim light. Got it. Oh, yeah, actually, I have a dynamic lighting token called Hooded Lantern, so that works.
Yeah, so you can drop that in any of the three squares in front of me. We use that as my area
Do you see it on the map?
effects.
I'm going to, you no longer admit light, or, oh, no worries. Oh, are they all enchantments as a bard? How interesting. Mm.
Roland it. All right.
All right, all right, all right. Forbidding Ward. Nice. A status bonus to AC and saving throws. Against, I would presume, yes. Alrighty. After that, I've got a friend that just sort of begins to shamble over. So checking 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 5, 10, 15, 20. He is going to move to there, and he is going to say hello to Ko. Let's see here. Just double checking.
If the lights ever go out, Leona's go, and you would say, bang, and then I'll say, go, bang.
Roll 1d20 plus. Well, that's a way to start off my evening, am I right?
Yeah, I heard you going last session.
Well, you know. So you take 16 points of damage, bludgeoning. Uh, in addition to that, I need you to roll a fortitude save.
Or the last time he made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith. Hey ho. Oh.
A little bit more than that, perhaps. Cool. No, yes, a fortitude save. I'll take that. Very good. Yeah, the zombie that comes up has rotting pustules and buboes all about him, and when he claws into you, some of his viscous fluid pops and gets into your sores and such. Uh, Perfect.
Speaking of biscuit most, how you doing, Clint? Good. Sorry, I'm like,
No worries. You guys suddenly see a zombie claw its way up out of the ground. Let me see here. I believe sustain is an action, and I didn't sustain a spell. Pathfinder, just making sure. I don't think so. Some spells might have a slightly different or sustaining a spell for more than 10 minutes, so 100 rounds ends the spell makes you fatigued unless da 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 da. If your sustained a spell action is disrupted, the spell immediately ends. So one moment, disrupting sustain a spell. Oh yeah. So how do you disrupt a spell from being sustained? I know an attack of opportunity can disrupt a manipulate action on a critical hit, which sustaining a spell isn't, but is there more available and readily? Fighters can get a feat that enables them to use attack of opportunity against concentrate actions. As it turns out, fascinating a creature also prevents concentration actions. Other than that, stunning a creature for a full round or knocking them unconscious will stop them from sustaining. So, cool deal. Yes. Virgil.
my last two actions to cast heal at my good friend Co.
Okay.
Oh, that's not how you roll that. That's not how you spell that. I know. Just take that that means no. I don't need time. That's why I'm my turn.
All right. That was Virgil's go. It is Kane's go. You got it. That will strike. Da, 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 just making sure that's right. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so 6 points of damage to the zombie. He takes it. Just that there. Six. All right. Next. Oh, well, actually, you still have multiple attacks probably, or you moved, attacked, and then. So you get three actions. So you can continue to unless you had to draw the Warhammer, which I figured you had something out or what have you. But that said, you can attack as many times in a round as you have actions. There is a -5 to hit each time. That depends, of course, on sometimes class abilities or weapons will reduce that penalty. All right. Alrighty. And let me double check something as well. And my apologies, I should have recognized it, except for the melee strike had thrown me off a little bit. Those are both critical hits because you rolled higher than 10 over the creature's AC. So you can roll critical hit damage for both of those.
Alright, so is that just an extra 1d8 for attack?
I believe so, yes. It's double. Let me see here. Critical hit Pathfinder 2e. I'm just going to double check again because I want to make sure that I'm right on all my calls because I haven't GM'd in a little bit. Critical hit Pathfinder. When you make an attack and succeed, you achieve a critical success. If you critically succeed a strike, your attack deals double damage. Okay, so it's double damage, not just double dice. Other attacks, such as spell attack rolls and some that use the athletic skill, describe the specific effects that occur when critical success occurs. So yes.
Yeah, sorry guys, I think this is our first combat for Pathfinder.
Oh, it's been a bit. We did the rat one, but yeah.
Alright,
We fought a rat once.
So
so when I press the roll critical damage under the, original attack, came up with 22. I don't know how that right?
what? Let's take a look. See here. It did.
22 is double 11. Yeah.
Uh,
Didn't Pete say that double the damage, not to die?
yeah. So that makes sense. Absolutely. I'm looking at because you can if you hover over it, you can see the what it did, and it took the original damage roll and then it times it by two. So, and it's actually easy. So it's 22 points and then 12 points. So,
Do I want to re-roll that manual roll that was just 1d8 plus 4 and just press the critical roll button again?
well, if you press the critical roll button, it'll just double. It'll do what you rolled originally times two. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because that's what it did the second time. So that'll be 12 and 22 is 34 points, which is quite some mighty strikes. And that still is a critical hit on that second attack, even if it had a -5 associated with it. So you take a couple mighty chunks out of the zombie.
Make sure I close my eyes right as the warhammer hits so I don't get anything in that.
So I need both you and Ko to roll fortitude saves. Um, because what happens is that this zombie is covered in pustules that rupture when it takes any piercing damage or a critical hit. So in either case, fortitude saves are needed. Um, those are both failures, uh, and
I said I closed my eyes.
well, it got in your mouth when you closed your eyes.
God damn it.
Uh, you both are sickened one, uh, so yeah, essentially. So I will mark your tokens as such. Provided that I'm on the right layer, objects and tokens. So sicken, that's good. All right, and that is Ko's go, or Kane's. Oh, goodness gracious.
Bill comes first. Thank you. That's our combat. Alright. Hopefully take over this monster. Nice.
Skeleton comes around into view, and I'm actually going to move Gabriel so that he has a better view of what's happening inside here. Uh, a skeleton comes into view over here. You guys should be able to possibly see him. But that being said, he has a bow in hand, and he is going to take a shot versus Ko, being his closer target. 10, 20, 30. So he's at -2. So we'll roll that with that in mind. Uh, a 20 will hit. Go, go, dice. And then you take a point of damage from an arrow. And the skeleton had moved twice and took his shot. And then he is done. Grail is comatose. Uh, a rash. I got a rash.
Raji can actually see that the archer in the distance.
Because you got that whole dark vision thing going on yet.
He's right here. No, just able to see enough of it
Oh, okay. That is not the skeletal archer. That's just another zombie, but you know.
to. Then I'm shooting at that one if I can see it.
Okay.
So go ahead and start taking shots. I lose my first action from the bow.
You got it.
Short bow. First attack. Nice. 23.
23 versus the zombie that's in front will critically hit them.
So that's an additional 5.
Cool.
Looks like it did it right. And here comes, I'm going to take the second attack. That's -5. Here we go. 21.
21 will not critically hit, but it still hits. Yes, so
That's piercing damage. Unfortunately, otherwise going for the
so
second.
piercing. Just making sure.
Really, really, they're going to hurt like hell.
So,
But
so,
also hard.
so that's
Break bones and penetrate. So snap it in the head.
got it. And then pox. All right. Uh, after. Oh, go ahead.
That's it. That's it. I got my 3 actions.
Your 3 actions are done. Very good. Da, da, da. Next on up is one of my friends who is going to go.
Is it me? Am I your friend? Am I your friend? No. I can just barely see that zombie too.
Shooting through this bit of rubble here. He's going to take a degree of cover and fire at Ko.
Sorry, Kyle. I'm terrible at skill.
Well, the problem is that that rot zombie's blocking my line of sight here. I mean, I'm not taking any negatives or whatever it is, so 10, 20. Phew, that arrow stuck a little bit more than the other one. All right. Uh Sayers go.
Alright. Considering he doesn't see anybody that I actually want to attack, which means that the first action should be to move. These squares are at 5 feet.
Yes, squares are 5 feet.
Even diagonally is another 5 feet.
The every second diagonal is an additional 10 feet or additional 5 feet tacked onto that. Yeah, because it's
So 2 diagonals is 15 feet.
yes,
3 squares is 10.
absolutely.
Alright, so we're gonna sit here. That's gonna be 30 feet.
Mhm.
Um,
There are rocks on the ground, absolutely. Some of it is providing, difficult terrain depending on the square, but the majority of the squares that just have like a few rocks on them are pretty clean.
Um, I'm going to use telekinetic projectile
Okay,
to grab one of the rocks and hurl it at the zombie shambler.
you got it. Go ahead and give her a roll. It does. And that is a good deal of damage, and that is all correct, it appears. So the telekinetic projectile does strike true. You see a rock begin to, float in the air and just fly at the zombie. And the zombie gets smashed for 10 points of bludgeoning damage. They seem to move about as quick as some of your companions go. They're not like, they wouldn't be what you would consider slow Hollywood zombies. These are like, as soon as they like looked over and they started to move at a fairly decent clip. I should say that that was the rot zombie. The shamblers themselves actually do look like they move a little bit slower. They have none of them have moved yet.
Right now, and then I will use the conflict spell, which is shielding strike, which basically just moves my shield up into place.
Okay, cool deal.
So I'm not doing anything with it other than the shield is raised. Oh, you know what? I'll use ignore that. I will draw my second.
I think, and one moment, let me just double check. Projectile Pathfinder. Da, da, da. Telekinetic projectile takes two actions to cast, so you'll have no actions left after the move. Once you
Okay,
cast the projectile,
that's fine.
so um,
I thought it was one action, but I may have not changed it.
it's somatic and verbal, so it takes two actions to cast. At least that's what I pulled up from the second edition archives. But if it says it differently in the book, just let me know. And
Yeah, I'll look it up in the other thing.
sweet.
But either way, I'm not doing much, so we can move on.
Cool. Next up is one of my shamblers, and this shambler is permanently slowed one, which means that he takes one less action around. Um, so let's see here. Slow.
On my turn, Virgil attacks go. The tree monster. Should traitors the whole time. Dude, the villain model up. Yeah, I knew you would trust me. That's your soft-heartedness was your downfall. Oh God, I'm just this team.
Let's see. Da, da, da. And to there, and going 5, 10, 15, 25 there. Actually, wait, no, why am I doing that one? They're on separate initiative orders. My apologies. All right, so the Shambler is going to move there with his first action, and with his second and only other action, he is going to attack Sayer because he got walloped by a rock. Uh, he is attacking with his fist. So, oh, that's not what I want to roll. Does an 18 hit Sarah? Okay, misses. Excellent. And that is his go. Then next up is after that one. Oh, and I did the shamblers out of order. That would have been that one moving up. This one still did not move. Next is my skeleton. Let's see here. Where are you at, bud? Three, four. He moves twice to there. And then he's going to take a shot at Sayre with his bow. And he's going to miss spectacularly.
Yeah, it's not favorites. It's orchism.
Well, this zombie will attack you. If you're worried about favoritism, don't worry about it. 21 to hit. Jesus. Yep. I'm hoping that it's going head to head, Pete. I don't know if 5 points of damage as he hits you. Um, you're already grabbed by the other guy, so he's not going to fight you for him. Da, da, da. Yes. So, let's see here. Going to layer. Where are you? 2, 5. You see a skeleton in armor with a shield and a sword come around the corner, and he just moves to there. Let me get this back into descending. Initiative comes around as the one skeleton will also move around to here with him, and he is wearing a sword and some chain. And then it gets back to the top with Ko. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, I see you clicking, but I can't hear you. If you ask him nicely. Cool. No worries. Got it.
16.
16 will hit. Got it. And let me. Uh, no, it was not. So 9 points to that one. Got it. So he's taking that. He's taking that. Uh, and as you strike that zombie, like brutally, it like sort of you strike through its shoulder and through a good deal of its spine, and it goes to its knees and it falls to the ground and starts like sort of twitching. So yeah. The rot zombie. Okay, yeah, my apologies. I thought you were talking about the other zombie. Cool. The rot zombie, I think so as well. Uh, that zombie is still alive. My apologies. So cool. Got it. Got it. Got it. Yep. He is still alive and kicking, although he looks very badly off. Where are you? Alrighty. And your second condition goes away at the end of your turn. After that, it's the rot zombie. Whoa. He's got a grab on you, so he's going to attempt to bite, which I'm sure will be fine. Oh God, I'm hoping for.
Yes, Mikey. Roll a 19.
I rolled a 10. It just is. Alrighty, so the jaws are nom nom nom. You take 6 points of damage, and I need a fortitude saving throw. Mm, fair. Yes, it does. He is going to take two more actions of attempting to bite you with his second attack. 14 will miss you, and then an 11 will miss you as well. So he's just, like, he's gumming you. And after Mr. Rot, it's Virgil. Arrowed. Yeah,
I'm just gonna cast heal at him again.
cool.
Yeah, it's 10. It's not the best I can do, but I'm very afraid at the moment. That's why I'm like, oh man, I don't know. Heal.
Cool. Next on up, after that, is Kane. You are correct. Rot zombie. That'd be a critical hit, yes. I need a fortitude save from both you and Co as you crit him. You are sick. He gets stuff all over you. And Kane, the second effect goes away at the end of your turn, this turn, as you are not sickened, but you are covered in goo from this thing just exploding all over you.
Right.
Alright, so one attack down. So there's a skeletal champion over by Gabriel. What's the other thing?
The other thing is a skeleton. He's in like chain, and he's got a sword in his hand.
I am going to
All right. -5 to hit from previous. Oh, well, if you're so raising your shield is an action. So what you've done is you've attacked, you've moved, and then you're going to be attacking again. You cannot raise your shield unless you instead of the attack raise the shield. So
well, let me move to here. Can I stow the shield and the warhammer and draw the glaive?
those are all actions. So yeah, the three action economy makes absolutely everything an action. Oftentimes, feats can make things so that they can either be done for free or done at a reduced capacity or something like that. But even recalling knowledge on something is an action. So,
I will smack this zombie right in front of them.
got it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. All right. Even with a -5 to hit, you still hit. Uh, uh, the 21 with a -5 does not crit, unfortunately. But that said, you do manage to damage it, and it's pretty badly off after taking a rock and you walloping it upside its head. Um, so uh, that is.
It doesn't automatically apply the -5 when you roll the weapon.
So yeah, there should be a button on your character sheet. So for example,
Okay.
I'll use Grail's sheet for an example. You can do first attack with his clan dagger, and then the second one will be attack number 2, and it'll be at 5
Oh,
less.
it says it. Okay, I see.
Oh, I like that.
Uh, so after that, Grail continues to stare off in the distance. Uh, that is my skeleton there. He's got a better shot at Kane now, so he's going to start unloading with arrows. 16 hit Kane. That will be a miss. Second attack. And let's see if he can't get a, you know. Da, 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 da. Arrows come, sailing at you out of the darkness, and they're just firing into the terrain around you.
I'm just trying to reach heal for Poe at this point so he doesn't take anymore.
You're doing admirable, Arashi.
Alright, well, I see that the zombie's gonna run right on the stairs, so I'm gonna start taking shots.
You got it.
First shot.
That that will hit, not crit. Uh, but that zombie you had screwed up horribly before. And this time you shoot it directly in the head. It, drops to its knees and then it falls to the ground and the arrow embeds through its eye socket. So you,
And then there's one in the far distance.
uh, gonna take a look see at what you can see. Uh, you hear more zombies moving on the other side of this wall, and you can hear Ko and Kane like moving back and forth, like with your passives, like attacking, taking hits. Like you heard like oh come on, like after something went, but
I'll move to here,
well,
and I'll move to. Sorry, I will shoot this guy here. So technically, there's no hit because he's covered in cocaine.
Kane
Okay.
Kaneko.
The second attack on the zombie champion, which is 7.
That will miss.
Okay.
So that was your move, shoot, move, shoot. So you are done, sir. It is Sayer's go.
All right.
Got that one off yet?
Thank you. And
Not that one off yet.
it looks like there's one 10 feet in front of me, so I'm assuming I need to move to attack.
Yes.
So we move.
Yes. If you move one more to the north as part of your movement, you'll be flanking with Kane.
Oh, cool. We'll do that.
That gives them -2 to their AC. So,
And we do spell strike.
oh,
Combining burning hands and my scimitar attack.
you got it.
Scimitar attack first.
You strike. Strike true.
Right. And then added the damage from burning hands.
Indeed. All right. So, as you strike into him, your blade erupts in flame, and the zombie virtually turns to ash and burning pus.
Lovely. Use my bonus action because that takes 2 actions.
Cool deal. After that. All right, that skeleton. That skeleton's got a clear shot at Kane, so he's going to take it. Come on. 23 for 4 points. And he's going to continue to try to keep on the pain train. He misses with his second shot, and his third shot goes like completely like wide over into the water. Um, Skeletal champions go. Alrighty.
He just personally sit back and watch, right? Like he's not gonna join the fray.
He is going to He's going to move up. He has his shield raised as an action, and he attempts to jab at Kane with his longsword. He hits with a 22, and you take 10 points of damage.
How much did you say that was?
10 points of damage.
Starting to get some traction. They call me flat-footed.
The next skeleton's going to move up, uh, lockstep with the champion, and he is going to attack with a longsword. 17 versus Kane, I think, misses. And he takes 2 attacks. Both of them miss, or parried and such. And the skeleton is done. And we have... Oh, I did 2 skeletons out of order. The other skeleton on the opposite side, we got to go first. Doesn't matter, though. And that skeleton, now that Sayers moved out of the way, has a perfect shot on Ko. Ah, my luck is running out. No! No! Come on, Natural. Son of a... Pew, pew, pew! He's trying. Um, Back to the top with, and I'm going to move Gabriel around so that he can see the other side of the battlefield. So back to the top with Ko. So against the champion, a 20, you bring the maul down, and he brings the shield up, and it strikes the shield. Oh, no, no, no! You miss because he has a 21 AC with the shield raise. So he also, in the event that you did hit him, could use the reaction shield block to absorb some of the damage. So, any other actions? Oh, okay, good deal. All right. Alrighty, then next up after Ko, that guy's dead. Virgil.
How are my two frontline blades looking? Y'all doing okay? Which one of you is doing the worst?
They both seen better days. You can take an action to roll medicine if you'd like.
Oh no, they both have seen better days, and I feel like that's my friend. I mean, like, God, he was Ko was bluffed. Virgil has never seen this. He is shocked and awed and casts silent pulse on you. And then he sheepishly walks forward,
you
stamps up double.
you got it. After Virgil's go is Kane.
So, with battle medicine, is there any negatives for doing that in combat while you're threatened by someone, or do
Well,
you step back or anything?
uh, interesting that you say that because battlefield medicine may have the manipulate action. Let's see here, Pathfinder 2E, and in the event it has the manipulate action, uh, it could uh, provoke an attack of opportunity. Da, 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 healing manipulate skill.
The only thing is when you roll attacks of opportunity.
Yep, usually only fighters or fighter types have attacks opportunity. Most creatures don't have attacks opportunity.
Alright, so you're saying that they're just not doing battle medicine while
He's
they're
very specific cases once he they may not do a problem, but this would be the only case where it's like, oh, this may not be the best case. Hey,
gotcha. Alright, take a swing at this guy.
You got it.
but this is the time to start.
He looks like a dead version of you, really.
Smells good.
You,
Fabulous.
woo. Okay. Well, a 29 will definitively hit him. He is going.
Does it crit him?
Uh, no, it does not crit him. In fact, he also will use the shield block action to reduce your damage by 5. So uh, he will take damage, just not as much. And you can see that your hit does a considerable. Yeah. So do 5 to him and 5 hit points to his shield. Right?
Okay. That should alright. Hold on. Let me roll one too. If that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Cool. And you manage to miss as
Um,
Oh, he took a bit of healing. Yeah, I mean, Virgil's crappy heals when he does it like that are very good. A cleric is excellent at healing.
Inside, Virgil is beating himself up.
This could have been so much better.
So do I need to use an action to keep my shield raised?
Yes, what shield block allows you to do is what my guy just did, which enables you to use a reaction to prevent damage to yourself. And the damage prevented is based off the hardness of your shield. All right, good deal. So your AC is raised by two. So whatever your normal AC without the shield is, you raise that by two. And then, indeed, there's a status effect that adds that as well. So you're as tanky as could. Very good. Very good. Uh, Next up is which of my skeletons is this one? Oh, you're that one. Ooh. Uh, One, two, three, four, five. One, two, three, four, five. He's going to move to there and he's taking a shot at Virgil. That's a 19 to hit. He hits you for 3 points of damage. This skeleton over here. Arashi. Oh, yes, yes, you're no longer sickened. Good call.
You are sick of it.
Take a straight shot.
Okay. 20 to hit which target again? That one. Double check. That does hit that one. You are correct. He is taking some degree of cover over there. 7 points of damage, you said? Alrighty. Since you're shooting, Mike, you realize as you're shooting him that arrows, sometimes just pass through skeletons, and you kind of nick one of his ribs, but you don't really damage him that much. Leastwise, it looks like they're resistant to piercing. Okay. Looking for attack two. No.
So
11 will unfortunately miss.
that's fine.
Sayers go.
So is that above the skeleton is that another bad guy or is that one of us?
That is another skeleton.
That is another skeleton. Alright. Then I'm going to move him up. Do you know, is Arcane Cascade an action or just a declaration?
Arcane Cascade. I think it's an action, because I've seen Maguses use it before, but let me just, because it's like a stance or something like that.
Right. It's basically requirements. Use your most recent action to cast a spell.
The requirement is you use your most recent action to cast a spell or make a spell strike. An arcane cascade is an action in and of itself. It's just a single action. You can start it up by doing that.
Right. So that will be my first action will be cascade. Yeah, arcane cascade.
Got it.
Second action will be
Cool.
um, yes, that's good. Um, and then I will attack with the scimitar.
All right. A 12 with the scimitar versus the.
And it would be a +1 as well.
Okay, so 13.
13.
It's unfortunately that skeletal guard is in some degree of chain, so your bounces off his armor.
Okay. And that does keep the flaming going as well.
Okay.
So if that would have any effect.
They don't seem to be particularly affected by fire or anything like that. They don't have an awful lot of flesh, unfortunately. So,
They're skeletons.
so
Make them more skeletal.
exactly. Um,
And I think that is actually the other question that I had.
hmm?
Is um, my fourth spell, which is Shielding Strike, says that it automatically comes up when it uses the momentum of my attack to raise my shield. So I don't know if that is a separate action or not.
It doesn't have the action, what have you, next to it. So, as you attack a foe, warding magic transforms momentum into the action that lifts your shield. Make a melee strike. You can then either raise your shield if you're wearing one or cast shield if you have the spell. Uh, Let me see here. For now, because I'm not so familiar and this is a focus spell, so uh, I think that it's reasonable to say that as you attack them, even if it was like a regular attack or anything like that, that yeah, no, this works for that. Even if you were doing a spell attack, I think this would work for that. So, because it,
I just wasn't sure if it would take another action to do this or if it would sort of reflects it.
What happens with a lot of items is if you look next to the action, it'll have like a little, like almost like a diamondy type thing next to it.
Right.
And those usually represent an action. If there's two of those diamondy type things next to it, that's two actions, and if there's three, it's a three action thing. If it's a reaction, it instead of the diamondy thing, it's going to have like a little circular arrow that'll represent reflexive. So this looks like, honestly, I rarely see something that's free, but this looks to be free, and its only cast is verbal. So I'd have to look it up later, but I think that you're good with this being free because it's like supposedly and it's also like a focus spell. Like those are usually pretty good.
Right. It's basically my hybrid focus sort of
Mm,
thing.
awesome. No, I like it.
Okay, cool. So my shield.
Awesome. Um, which is good because next up is that skeleton directly to your north, and he's got his best shot on you. so,
Yes, he does.
first shot coming at you is a 17. You are shielded, of course.
Right. Yeah, that's gonna miss.
All right, then he's going to continue to shoot at you because you're still the best shot that he's got. Plus or -4, and he misses. All right, it's skeletal. Ping, 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 indeed. Skeletal champions go. All righty here. All right, all right, all right.
All right.
He is going to attempt to. Well, Kane's raised his shield at him. So he's actually going to turn and stab at Ko instead. Because he recognizes just as much as he raises his shield, what that does for him. Uh, so he's going to do Longsword Ko. With a 13 will miss, unfortunately. He is going to attack Ko again. Son of a bitch. And then he raises his shield.
This does not like a critical failure.
He does get a critically failure. You are correct. And we'll say his sword drops to the ground. Bayat Assad. Next up is the skeleton on the opposite side here, and he is also going to start shooting Virgil. 25 to hit. Is that a critical hit? Okay. Pity. Miss. And then come on, -4. Oof. Well, you take the 5 points of damage and more arrows come flying at you as Ko has a vein throbbing in his forehead here. Uh, the skeleton next to Sayer, now that he has a new target in front of him, is going to attempt to stab at thee. 15, I believe, misses Sayer with his shield up. And then his second attack. And then final attack. Wow. Um, failure is quite bad, but yes, so he drops his sword as well. He'll need to pick that up. About 10, 15, 20. You, boom. He just moves up to there very slowly. And after that, it is Ko. Uh, um, as you go to leave the Skeletal Champion's area of effect. Oh, no problem. 17 to hit. That'll hit. And oh, shit. Well, yeah, it's just his claw, which he still has a claw. But you're right, it does less damage. Well, theoretically, 10 points of slashing. That is a critical hit. And let me see here. He doesn't resist it. He's not overly affected by it, but it's one of the two types that he can be fully affected by. So, um, eh, I'm going to mute Mike, by the way. That skeleton goes down like 2 times over. Yeah, you just see Virgil just sees bones fly out around Ko after he charges over that direction. Fair, fair, fair. Virgil. All right. It is Kane's go. You got it.
So if I do a 5 foot adjust, that
It is. A 5 foot adjust makes it so that, so ordinarily, if you move past someone with an attack of opportunity, you would provoke it. But a 5 foot step, which is it is an action and it is, a movement, obviously, that does not provoke. So that's how you dance around fighters, essentially, or people with reach weapons that can do, horribly bad things about.
5 foot adjust and those two swords,
Okay,
and then swing.
you got it. I like the initiative. 17, unfortunately, you've seen that this guy's got your AC more or less. So that's attack number 2 as well. That will hit for the 10 bludgeoning versus my beloved. He had already taken his reaction to attack Ko, so he can't shield block. Q. The skeleton next to Ko drops its bow, draws a rusty looking scimitar, and swings it. Right, so he dropped the weapon, drew, which dropping it didn't take an action. Then he's going to attack one more time with it, and then yes, it's the one that you charged up to, but you killed the one, and the other one's still there. He had a short bow out, but he dropped it because stabby, stabby. Oh, you're correct. He drops a sword. All right. After my skeletons is Arashi. Oh, I can unmute him now if he's Mike, you're unmuted now. Although he may still be on the phone. So we may um hold delay. Uh, we'll move his initiative towards later in the round just to keep things moving.
That was spot on.
I like I like to stick my thumb in my bum and wash it around. He turns and shoots Kane.
Real low, so that he backs up and chip on.
We've got him outside of the initiative order, so he'll be able to jump in whenever he gets back. Um, but it is Sayer's go.
Which zombie looks less heavily, or which skeleton looks less heavily armored?
So the one that's directly in front of you to the left looks much less armored than the one to the south. The zombie to your north doesn't appear to be wearing much armor at all. Just, fleshy.
I don't like having clothes on two sides. So let's get rid of that zombie.
All right, very good. That's a hit versus the zombie. So that will strike him. True. Now, you do find that for whatever reason, he's got like a lot of rotted flesh and such, and for whatever reason, slashing seems to get like caught up and doesn't seem to saw through his flesh too well. Oh wait, oh, my apologies. You sliced through better. You sliced through better. I apologize. I was looking at immunities and it carried over in a run-on sentence into weaknesses. So he's actually weak to that.
Right. It is also a still a flaming sword that does one more damage.
Oh, flaming as well. Okay, he's not weak to flaming or resistant to it, but he takes an additional 5 points of slashing damage from you because you're using a scimitar. So that is 11. Then the fire. Then let's see here. He's still there, but he's badly like you're tearing him apart.
Yeah, why not? We will try one more time. What's the worst that can happen, right?
So that's a -5, but it still hits because he's not wearing any armor. So the 12, in fact, does hit. Uh, it deals 1 point of slashing, which is enough to invoke the other extra 5, and plus the fire, you cut the zombie down.
And that's it for the last hit. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Most impressive.
Most impressive. Skeletons go. Uh, and it's a skeleton directly to the north who's still taking his shots. How many arrows do they have? Critical critical hit versus Sayer. Do you well you can choose to raise your shield, I think, after the hit, or I mean, to use the reaction to absorb some of the damage if you want. Although it'll break your shield for like 10 minutes.
Well, I also have shield block
Oh, okay,
as
cool, awesome.
my shield is already raised.
Okay, so if you'd like to, you could use your reaction to raise versus that. It's 10 points of damage incoming as he gets a particularly good arrow shot at you.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, then he's going to fire 2 more times, which are likely going to be misses.
Can
Hmm.
the shield's hardness gets removed from that?
Yes. So you what happens with that is that you will take, if it's a steel shield, you take 5 less damage. Your shield will take 5 hit points of damage as well, though, since it's over its hardness. And that will like unless your shield is repaired, it contributes towards the break threshold, which could eventually break your shield. But that said, yep, absolutely, you use your reaction to shield block, so the arrow still goes through the shield, but and does some damage to you. But you do in fact absolutely,
Okay, so that's. So you said it was 10 damage?
yep, 10 damage,
Okay, so minus 3, so 7 damage.
and then -5 unless you have a.
Right.
If you have a steel shield, it's 5. If it's a wooden shield, it's less than that. So yes.
I don't know which it is. I just think I have buckler.
Oh, buckler. That's I think that you're right with a 3 on that. Let me see.
Right, its hardness is 3, so.
And that's what it absorbs. So, um,
Okay, so
abs
7 points of damage.
absolutely. And the buckler takes 7 as well, I think. Um,
Yeah, it does.
so there you go. Uh, and then after that, skeleton's other wild shots. It's my favorite guy, my champion. You're standing on his sword and he doesn't like it, Bill. So
I'm
you've
standing hard on it.
so he is going to come after you with his claw.
That's the name of Bill's biography. I'm standing harder and standing harder.
28 to hit you
Oh my god. Standing
Holy
harder.
shit.
for 9 points of damage. Then he's going to come at you again with another claw. A 19 to hit this time.
19 misses.
Alrighty. And he's going to raise his shield with his last action. So he is fighting hand to hand. Uh, Next up is his skeletal companion, who's going to attempt to attack Sayer with a rusty blade. 16, I think, will miss. And he's going to take his other two attacks, and they're likely not going to be very effective. Actually, he actually had to spend one action to pick up his rusty blade. I forgot about it, so the last attack didn't happen. But either way, um, then after that, we go back around the top to Ko. Oh yes, yes, 100%. So Arashi, you would have had an action on your turn, and I'm not gonna reduce your initiative to 0 or whatever. Your initiative's the same.
So I move into position. See how it'll change. First shot. That's not gonna do anything. Second shot.
21 will in fact hit him.
Alright. 5 points of piercing damage.
He's gonna shield block, and he takes none. All right. It is Ko's go. Who may be muted. Okay. Boom. A hit and a kill. Yes. He is the champion. Okie doke. You got it. Virgil.
Pretty rough. Alright. 7th verse, same as the first. I rolled a 6. Yes, 14 points of damage coming in. That's what I rolled. Nice. I'll use my move to look in and then back out.
All right. Good deal. A newly rejuvenated Kane.
Steps with his left foot, and with his right foot attempts to drag his sword to that square with him.
Okay. Ordinarily, I would say it would take an action to do something at that dexterous, but we'll give it to you. Yes, you can make a roll for. Well, I mean, it would still be an action, so to speak, because you're trying to manipulate something else. You don't have a feat or anything like that that would make it non-action like. Uh,
He has 2 feet.
And can I burn the action and not have to make a roll?
yeah, yeah, I didn't give you that 100%.
Alright, so yeah, I'll drag the sword under me, step on top of it again as I adjust 5 feet, and then put everything I have into this next shot.
Okay, bring it. Bounces off of his shield.
Oh, and flag
He is, so he's flat-footed. He has -2 to his AC, so he still manages to avoid your attack. After that, Grail continues to stare off longingly into the distance. Harashi. That'll be a miss. Another miss. Your bowstring breaks. You're gonna have to take an action to restring it.
Arashi. Will totally discount the massive amounts of damage I did to a few of them before they died.
Sayers go. Woo! Yep. He does have resistance to slashing, which would have been applicable except you completely destroy him. So you manage to just completely bring the blade down and a spell effect in tandem with it, and it explodes in bone shards. Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Got it. Up goes wide, indeed. Um, Next up, the skeleton next to Ko draws a rusty blade as an action, drops its bow, and then it's gonna take a couple attacks here. Come on. As he. Oh, that hits. Nice. For 3 points as he gets you with a rusty blade. Then we've got my champion, who is going to claw the crap out of Kane. He's got two claws. 23 for 5 points. And then and that's a miss. He raises his shield, and he is done. Uh, Ko. Oh no. All right. That will hit. Uh, it it is. And activate everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you want to just continue to run headlong towards the temple, I'd really appreciate it. Just screaming, "We're here! We're here! We're here!" That would be.
Wouldn't that be stealing Mike's thunder?
Cool. Boop, boop, boop. Alrighty. Then after Ko's go, it is Virgil's go.
She knows I will move. Virgil will take his staff and begin to cast a different spell. You are going to cast magic that Philip the Skeletal Champion is all afraid. 14 points of damage.
Well, it turns out that he's really hard to hit, but when you're automatically hitting, you're hitting that chunky, bony brittleness underneath. And the first one like strikes his shoulder, and like you can see his shield arm completely shatters. The second one strikes one of his legs, and he goes down to one knee, and the other one strikes him dead on in the chest, and he explodes in bone shards over Kane.
Like rolling around, Virgil goes, I'm gonna get yelled at because of you, and then just like cast the spell and explodes.
And with that, so you guys have successfully vanquished all of your foes on the battlefield for now, and have a moment's respite now that you're no longer accosted by the shambling hordes of the dead that were roaming about this former gatehouse or ruined tower, whatever this is.
So, the sword that I'm standing on, does it look like anything, or is it all busted up?
The sword actually looks like it's in pretty good condition. You can see that it's got uh, actual maker's mark. It's not rusty by any means. In fact, his armor, his shield, everything looked like it was in fairly good condition here. The skeleton was a little bit charred itself underneath, but that aside, the blade appears to be in quite good condition. Okay. You reach down and grab the shield to inspect. It's got a livery on it, and it is a steel shield. It's taken a little bit of damage from the combat you guys were just in, but other than that, it looks like it's in pretty good shape.
I would like some help getting this arrow out. If you don't mind, is really hurt.
So, battlefield medicine, the feat allows you to do it in one round, but they'll be immune to it for like 24 hours. If you take 10 minutes to just do a medicine check that is treat wounds, then you'll have they'll only be immune to your treat wounds for an hour after that. All right, so you're using the battlefield medicine feat just to make sure. Okay.
Just before we start pulling arrows, I'm just gonna cast the Weed of Aura cantrip. It's like a one action, and just lets me know if the sword is magical.
The sword is magical, actually.
And if it is, I learn the school of magic.
Let me see. The School of Magic is uh it's arcane, and I'm trying to transmutation.
I'll cast the spell, and then like, oh hey, this transmutation magic just as like a Sam tools the arrow. Magic. So that means it turns the arrow into skeletons. No, no, I can just tell you that it is magical and what school it's from. I actually which is something I don't have.
Check here.
So, what happens is that the medicine checks that you guys made did not succeed. You guys are immune to your medicine, I believe, for a hour after that. But that said, the DC is 15, unless you try to hit a more risky DC for more healing. So you guys try to patch up your wounds as best you can, but you the try you guys can try again in an hour. But that being said, if we look at the medicine skill, which I'll pull up in front of me real quick.
And say, Pete, can I try that 10-minute medicine? I've got a healer's kit and that's still trying.
Yes, you can.
Around here, possibly, or a cleric, because I'm doing a very bad rendition of a porcupine as well.
I got 22.
Almost out. I don't know what that means.
Oh, and it is the target is temporarily immune to treat wounds, not just treat wounds from that individual, but treat wounds for 1 hour. So the interval also overlaps with the time you spend treating the patient and things of that sort. So I'm assuming that this first sort of treat wounds, by the way, has occurred and it's overlapping, like you're all over the 10 minutes. Ko tried his, Kane tried his, Virgil's trying his then, etc. So, but Virgil succeeded. Um,
What makes it a critical success?
so critical success would be a 25. Now, if you aimed for a DC 20, then you could also increase the hit points gained by 10. That also said, yeah, because if you critically fail, you do damage, if I'm not mistaken. But that aside, and critically failing is 10 less than the DC. So if you rolled less than a 10 on your medicine check, then that would be, risky. But yep, you get the 2d8. And if you wanted to continue to treat that wound for the rest of an hour, by the way, you can double the amount healed. Okay. So, so this will be taken. Yeah, everyone that uses the medicine skill to treat wounds gets 2d8. Certain classes or archetypes can gain more healing. There's also a feat called Risky Surgery, which is really cool. Um, Risky Surgery makes it so that the person takes a d8 of damage before the treat wounds occurs. It gives them +2 to the medicine check, and if they succeed, they automatically critically succeed. Um, but but yeah, it's a really good feat. It's very risky depending on the circumstance.
start doing stuff. Somewhere defense.
Grail stares blankly into the distance.
Anybody know how to make better armor and shield?
That's meant to be the best way.
Repairing them would require a repair kit and craft skill, typically, or the men spell.
See what I can find here.
What do we roll for searching?
You can search through them if you're trying to see like basically they have what they have on them. If you're trying to identify anything about it or try to find anything secreted or anything like that, you can apply skills. But the skeletal champion had a breastplate on him, the shield, the sword. In addition to that, he had slung over his back a lance. Um, the other he just never used it. Who knows? It was just slung over his back. What do you want? Uh, most uh, a good deal of these zombies and skeletons, whereas they were rotting and some of them had their flesh sloughed away and such, not all of their clothing is ancient and rotting. A good deal of it, like the chain shirt that the skeleton next to the champion is in good condition. A lot of these things have maker's marks on them. A lot of them have livery in tatters over it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Sure.
So basically, this is the last part is trying to do
A lot of you guys recognize a lot of insignias of either knightly orders or just in general insignias of the Kingsland, particularly houses associated with the Margrave. Um, like some of these are, yeah. Well, again, the contract was one that the Margrave had his captain put out, and it was just accepted by Lochwin, or Lochwin said that he'd try to find someone to take the contract. Um, they had been saying that a number of individuals, or like usually the caravans that were getting hit, were associated with the Kingsland in some capacity or another. You also know that the captain had sent several patrols up here to see if they couldn't figure out what was going on, and none of them returned. Yep, you find four short bows in really good order. Scattered amongst their things, and some of them were firing like bones at you and things like that. But you find a couple hundred arrows scattered amongst them, as well as some quivers around. Um, you don't really find anything like coin or gems or anything of that sort. But you find like some of the blades are rusted and old. Like a couple of the skeletons' weapons were a little bit older. And like they've been weather worn and been out in the countryside probably for weeks or months. But if there's anything like they were mostly using what I was using against you guys. So those items that I just listed off there are the most valuable pieces that you could probably still find a seller for, just because they're decently well made and in okay shape. Some of them, again, a lot of this is heavy though, and I don't know how close you guys are on encumbrance. So It may not be, unless you had a cart or something like that, it may not be worth your while to be packing this crap around.
Why don't we just, kind of hide it in a corner or someplace that's, off the map? So right here, we can always try and get it on the way out.
Okay. If you guys just
Breastplate is we'll have to scale mail. I can't remember. Scale mail. Breastplate bonus, scale mail.
Breastplate is a plus 4 AC bonus, and scale mail is plus 3 AC bonus.
You don't mind. Probably use the breastplate.
just keep in mind that there could be more negatives depending on strength and other things of that sort. So definitely check out the armor to make sure what's every type of armor and every type of weapon has like different things associated with it. So it may have a negative or a positive for you, depending on circumstance.
Right. Paste in chat.
Breastplate and
So plus 4 plus 2. The minus 2 is the check penalty. Minus 5 feet is speed penalty. 16 is your strength, and it's a bulk 2.
Some of the penalties can be ignored depending on your strength. So with that, you probably have more than a 16. You probably have an 18. So you likely can ignore some of those. I don't know if you can ignore all of them. You'd have to look at up in the under the armor section.
yeah, I think the rest of those penalties are the same as the scale mail.
Hmm.
You just have a plus 1 as a disrespect and the less dex going to your AC now.
Yeah, that will be the difference because the check penalty and the speed rating are the same. Bulk is the same, but the dex cap is going to be more.
That's a scale.
Oh, the scale mail goes up to plus two.
Hmm.
Right.
So it's a wash.
A lot of armors you'll find are a bit of a wash, just because dex cap being what it is and things of that sort. So it's actually whereas all of your stats will be going up over the levels and things of that sort, you're going to find that you're going to have to claw at getting like magical armor and other types of bonuses to try to, if you want to be like a really an armor-based character, you really have to focus at it because you can't just slap on full plate and a tower shield and call it a day. It's not that easy.
Yeah, they don't have masterwork in this, do they?
They actually, if you go through the armor section in the magic area, if you look at the different types of metals, they have like, and the thing is that it's not going to contribute directly to your AC, but the different types of metals and the different types of things and the makes and such of armor can, like for example, you can improve hardness of things. You can make it less likely that your armor could be destroyed, or because I mean, there's all sorts of like there's like 4 or 5 bestiaries, and I can guarantee you some of these creatures will attack your armor. Or like a blast effect will go off and it could affect your armor. Like just like shields can take damages and things have a break threshold, your armor also can take damage and has a break threshold as well. So there, so having a superior, like having adamantium armor or something like that, could be really useful further down the road. It's bulkier, but it is really hard to destroy. Um, so it's one of those. It's a cool thing. It's a little bit of a nitpicky thing, though, and it's a bookkeeping thing. Unfortunately, in Pathfinder, is that break thresholds and all that sort of stuff is kind of stuff that you gotta keep track of a little bit.
Okay.
And if a regular object hits its break threshold, it's worthless. If armor hits a break threshold, then its AC is reduced by 1 for the threshold, I think, or depending on the whether it's heavy, light, or medium or whatever. But cool stuff. All right.
Are there any like markings or anything on the wall, or are we gonna continue like an end game?
No, we can go for a little bit longer here, and then we can end game after you guys have sorted yourselves a little bit more. There are some markings on the walls, and you do find like there's not tattered tapestries or anything like that. This area is so far ruined that that's barely what you get. Is you can see things are still marked or done on the walls and such. And there's like remnants of like either frescoes or mosaics on the walls that there's some tile work that still remains. Um, but it's faint and there's not very much of it.
Not arcane scrolling, so we scrolling some like demonic cultist things or
Oh yeah, sure, roll religion.
okay. Right. In fact, I will just use my sheer feet and take an 18.
18.
Take a 10.
Yes, you do see that there are signs of like braziers and hellfires and demonic sort of flights of devils dragging folks down into the layers of hell and such. On some of the far walls, like in whatever this ruined area is up here, um, but nothing very specific. And it would be really hard to get a beat off of it other than what you know with regards to it. This definitely shows like some signs of that maybe a portion of this area probably served as like a small chapel for folks coming through, or it had some sort of dedication to a dark deity.
Okay, and nothing new, obviously.
Nothing new, no.
I will provide all that information to the group, whether they are listening or not.
So you guys have taken about 30 minutes here. You've sort of just, taken a brief look at the magic sword to know that it's magical. Uh, a couple of you have seen to the wounds of the party members, but these folks are still wounded. And you've taken a little bit of time to look around and also, pick up some of the weapons and toss them over in a pile, cover it up so that you can possibly get them when you come back. Um, so about 30, maybe 30 plus minutes has elapsed. Are you taking any more time to hole up and lick your wounds at this point? It's again, remember, night has fallen at this point, so you can continue along on your way up. It's just, again, it's up to you guys as to how you want to approach.
You need more time?
I would prefer to setting out maybe approach this at dawn.
Also, do recall that resting does not restore you to full health. It restores a very small number of hit points.
No, I'm more concerned with fighting in the dark.
Hmm. Oh yeah, no, I'm just letting everyone know that this isn't fifth edition.
No, understood. I'm wondering, is there? Can we maybe look around a little bit and see if there's some place we can camp out so that I get a little less non-wave and attack me from every direction?
I can take a look and see what I can find. While I'm picking up my arrows, all except for I'm sure the was the critical failure.
Mhm.
Actually, the bow, of course, that should be pretty good. I'll go around and look around for there's a decent place where we can warm up so
Yeah, I will do the same.
Okay.
one team.
This will be fine. We can always close the map and say, this place looks great, guys. Spin them around or whatever.
Uh, the terrain had sort of one way in to here to get in further into the mountainous pass, but you can see Arashi does at least with what limited vision he can and going not too far away from the area that there are a number of places to shelter along the pass on the way up to the monastery. As this area hasn't been too terribly well kept, there probably were natural occurring either crevices or caves or things of that sort that you could utilize those instead of this ruined area here if you wanted to. Again, how well traveled or tracked, he'd have to get closer in order to see, what would be going in and out of there with footprints and things of that nature. But there's definitely other places to you think you could rest other than this tower.
It's leave if we have to. But we stay at I think the fine spot that would get us through the we should probably heal up. Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right, so you guys managed to get a little bit further down the path up towards the monastery, and the your companion Arashi has managed to find a bit of a cave that the way in is such that you sort of have to put yourself flat to one side to sort of almost squeeze in, but it opens up into a larger cave on the other side. That it looks like it may have at one point have been used for whatever purpose. You can see like the remnants of what would have been something to use for a campfire. That again, it doesn't look like a giant one or anything like that because the way for the smoke to get out is a little bit smallish, and it would have to almost give away the locale. But you can see that there's other signs that people had been down here through the years. Like there's uh, small leather racks, not like torturer's rack or anything like that, but like uh, several sticks that have been bound together by leather cords and ties that you would put hides out on or something to that effect for drying, things of that nature. You'd have to investigate a little bit more, but that's what you see at a glance looking into the cave.
Let me know when that tower's
Once you're getting up towards this way and such, I mean, you guys haven't been, again, it's in the dark, so you didn't like go full speed on this direction. Yeah, so you half an hour could have passed.
Damn video powering it's dark. I don't like it. I could try to treat wounds for this.
He
See
it
if
may
that gives
so
us
any use of treat wounds makes him immune for an hour. So you can use it on another person, but you can't use it on him.
are we bedding down or are we just waiting?
Should have gotten a guidance from Virgil or something like that.
Alright, so Virgil's out. We gotta do a 4 on our own.
Alright, does somebody else still need healing attempting?
So so
That's
It's +6.
just a reminder, if medicine was attempted against your character, you are immune for an hour.
Right. If nobody else is up, I could use a little bit more.
Come over. Let's see what we got here. That's a mess. That kind of smells bad.
It's a critical success. So you do 4d8 instead of 2d8.
I'm digging around trying to see if tree produces long, broken fingernails on that damn thing.
That's gross too. Was that you healing yourself or you healing?
He was already again, I'm gonna emphasize this because I've said it 3 or 4 times at this point. Virgil attempted a heal check on Kane, so he's immune to treat wounds for an hour.
I'm guessing that Kane was. I wasn't sure. I
On
thought Arashi was trying to heal me, but if Kane was, I'm perfectly fine with that.
I thought Kane was attempting to heal Sayer, but I could be wrong.
No, sorry. I was attempting to heal myself because I thought Virgil was not able to try to heal myself and recover.
No, he failed in his medicine check, so he sort of stumbling around there, and I'll allow that medicine check to apply to someone else, but you would have been immune from because it sounded like everyone was saying give Virgil a chance at Kane, and they did, and he just rolled poorly. That's all. Then Ko tried against himself and failed, and then uh, yes,
Oh, is that what happened? I thought I didn't realize Virgil tried to heal.
Mike was role playing it that like oh it's damp and da 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 and stuff like that, but he was just role playing why he failed.
Alright, so I can use this to revive on someone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
just maintain. That's awesome. I need 2 points. So
What do you gotta do roll 48?
Yes. Yeah.
I just keep the extras and extra temporary hit points. I have no idea.
There you go.
Just know that he's an excellent healer.
20. Yeah, that brought me back from the dead. Thank you. Wow.
You're welcome.
And you guys, if you want to hole up and rest there for the evening, you can, and you will want to, as people are doing their watches, continue to do treat wounds because the amount of healing that you get from just resting does not equal what you would be doing over those time periods. So, but we'll pick up with the watches in the cave next game. Let me tabulate XP for what you guys killed here tonight, because that was that's, oh, I
Well, right now I'm at 200 of a thousand. That's really bad.
Yep.
yes. And you all got 225 XP from the encounter. Um, and you'll continue to, of course, that was just one encounter out of whatever else may happen up here. Um, but that being said, let me see here. You also you've got the sword. The rest of the stuff you're piling up just to make sure. So that I'll keep a list of that so that when you guys come back, you can take a look-see at that and see whatever bulk you can pick up off of that. And we'll pick up with you guys in the cave. And yeah, I was glad that again I know it'd been a while since we did a combat and so wanted to reintroduce it. I thought that went pretty well as well. So cool deal. And
That's awkwardly honest. I shit my pants when you rolled off that strike.
uh, Path, Pathfinder can be a little bit like Rocket Tag, depending on circumstance and how. Like I've seen a lot of GMs in recent days rolling really well, but fortunately my dice averaged out, and I don't hide my rolls, so that's always a concern of I could just crit you guys to death, and it's very easy to do that in Pathfinder, as you've seen. So,
Right.
but good game, everybody.
Hey, man. Since we found this nice, very secluded cave, do we want to move the loot in here?
Yeah, not a bad idea. I'll decide after that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I can do it once, so I'm gonna take most of it and then we'll hit again.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, and that you guys will have plenty of time between whenever you're gonna put your head down, and also you're gonna have to do more treat wounds. So that's perfectly feasible to have been able to go grab the equipment and bring it back to the cave. So coolio.
Did you say what kind of sword this was? The nice one?
It's a longsword, I think.
Somebody should be able to use it.
I mean, I can.
It's magically went well.
Now it could be cursed. It can turn you
Like
into a skeletal champion. It could turn me into a skeletal champion. Do you have the ability, Virgil, to determine what sort of magic it has?
It's got transmutation magic.
You'd have
So
to.
it actually does.
Oh no, that I don't have that.
No,
That would be identify.
you could roll an Arcana check. There is no identify spell in Pathfinder that I'm aware of. Maybe not. Oh wait a second. Let me see here. Pathfinder.
I was
Uh,
gonna say I can do an Arcana
Check
check
that
as well.
out. So yes, I am.
You need to use skills in order to identify magic items.
Oh well, I'm not quite adept at that. I'll
So,
take a look at that as well. See what
There's
I
a
can
19.
see.
so for the skill, once you discover that an item is, and this is identify magic, the action. Once you discover that an item, location, or ongoing effect is magical, you can spend 10 minutes to try to identify the particulars of its magic. If your attempt is interrupted, you must start over. The DM sets a DC for your check, and I've got various different things for difficulties on that. Cursed or esoteric objects may have a higher DC or might even be impossible to identify using this action alone. Heightening a spell doesn't increase the DC to identify it. Um, Critical success, you learn all the attributes of the magic, including its name, what it does. Success for an item or location, you get a sense of what it does and learn any means of activating it. Failure, you fail to identify it and can't try again for a day. And critical failure is you misidentified the magic as something else of the GM's choice. Um, so all three of you have a rough idea what this is. Arashi's actually, it's tough to say transmutation magic. That's kind of odd. But Virgil and Sayer both recognize this is a pretty basic enchantment, and it doesn't even have a rune associated with it. Although you could have a rune associated with it if you ever got one and wanted to transcribe it on there. But this is just a basic +1 weapon, which a basic +1 weapon, I believe, only adds +1 to hit. So it's a nice weapon. It could get a rune property in the future, which is could be striking or something like that, which is very common. But a striking rune costs like 60 to 70 gold, and you'd have to transcribe it carefully onto the weapon in order to get that to work or something like that. But that said, it's functional.
Anybody else look into it, but I can certainly use it if no one else.
Unless it's a huge claw or great axe.
Start with it. It's not really my style either, but I've got room on my back for it, so
I just barely left it. I mean, technically I can use it, but I'm not.
Good deal.